The chair recognizes Ms. Nguyen of Andover. Again, members are please asked to take their seats and to subdue their conversations.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Through you to the members, I rise in support of H 4137, the Student Opportunity Act, an aptly named bill, as it does indeed create opportunities for students across the Commonwealth to achieve success. As with our sports team, Massachusetts is #1 in our great nation when it comes to education. From its founding, Massachusetts paved the way by establishing public schools and requiring all students to learn how to read and write. In the Massachusetts Constitution of 1780, depicted up there, John Adams confirms the necessary role that education has in the preservation of rights and liberties. And he commits our Commonwealth to the education of every child because he understood that the future of our Commonwealth, the success of our communities, and the strength of our trade and economy depends on an educated citizenry and workforce. The health of our government and the future of our society is made stronger and brighter when people have the educational foundation to allow them to think deeply and critically. Thus, the widespread education of children in the public schools was and still is necessary for our continued prosperity. Massachusetts has set the standard for what public education would look like throughout our country under the visionary direction of the Secretary of Education, Horace Mann, pictured up, his name is inscribed up there. According to the Secretary, an abolitionist, education is a great equalizer. Indeed, education has been so for me and hundreds of thousands of students throughout the Commonwealth. I immigrated to the United States when I was 5 years old with my parents as political refugee from the hostile Vietnamese communist regime. My father served alongside US soldiers, and after the communists took over, they forced him into a re-education camp for 8 years. My family grew up in poverty because my dad couldn't find a job because he was completely blacklisted by the government. And in the early 1990s, we were approved to come here to the United States, and we settled in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and my family has been in the Merrimack Valley ever since. We could have gone anywhere in the country, but my parents believed that we had to come to Massachusetts because this is where all the best schools are. So I know my parents are watching the live stream. I have to say, Mom and Dad, you made the best choice making Massachusetts our home. With the help and support of so many teachers, faculties, community members, I learned how to speak English in the public school system here in Massachusetts. Additionally, I learned how to read, write, do math, do science, but most importantly, I developed a passion for learning. With a solid public school education, I was able to be the first in my family to graduate from college and then go on to graduate from law school, thank you. I then became a legal aid attorney where I advocated for and represented families like mine, people who just needed opportunities. While some people may look at spending as numbers on a spreadsheet, we as legislators need to think about the real-life impact that our legislation will have on real-life people, particularly the children whose life will be so impacted by this bill. I was incredibly fortunate to have the opportunities that I had to achieve the goals that I had set out for myself. Education played a pivotal role in that success. It didn't just teach me how to think, it also gave me the confidence and character to be an advocate for others. Education allowed me to dream big and dare to take risks, which was what brought me here today, the very first Vietnamese American to hold office in this great House of Representatives. Now we have the ability to provide that for every single child. All of our students deserve this very same opportunities that I had. Education at its best is about empowering our future generations to believe in themselves, to achieve their dreams, and to take an active role in our society. Today, even though Massachusetts is the first in the nation when it comes to education, there's a huge achievement gap that we need to close. And this bill will level the playing field and allow us to do just that. Research has shown that where there are higher concentrations of poverty, the needs are higher. Many districts across the Commonwealth require additional funding to ensure that all students receive the same educational opportunities. By passing this bill, the House will echo the spirit of Horace Mann and uphold the grand principle that it matters not where you were born or into what family. Every child in Massachusetts deserves a fair shot at great success. Thank you. I'm incredibly proud of the work and energy that so many people have put into this bill. Legislators and community advocates, many of whom are here, teachers and students, and the Foundation Budget Review Commission, as well as the educational experts that we rely on in our districts. I particularly want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, as well as the gentleman from the North End and the leadership team for your commitment to education as evidenced by this bill. I'm also very grateful to the Education Committee, especially the leadership of the gentlelady from Wellesley and the gentleman from Salem, for all their hard work on this bill. You all, along with our colleagues in the Senate, visited communities across the Commonwealth to hear the concerns of the people in our communities and brought that information back to the State House to piece together this legislation that would ensure we keep our promises to our students, our teachers, and our schools. Many incredible voices collaborated to produce this bill that truly empowers each and every child in our state to succeed in whatever path they pursue, whether that be college, trade school, or military service. Furthermore, major updates to this formula would not only make funding more equitable, it also would benefit districts, all districts in our Commonwealth, whether it be urban, suburban, or rural communities. Healthcare costs for employees and retirees will greatly benefit all communities, as well as all districts will see more money in special education costs. Enrollment of special education, as we all know, has increased throughout the Commonwealth. Steadily so, especially for the towns in my district, and this new formula would not only increase special education enrollment and cost assumptions to more accurately reflect the actual enrollment and costs, but it also will expand special education circuit breaker, which is so necessary to reimburse districts for extraordinary special education costs, and for the very first time ever, which I'm very excited about, it would include transportation costs in the calculation. I'm so glad that this will benefit the 4 towns in my district, Andover, Boxford, Tewksbury, and North Andover. By covering special education transportation, districts would definitely see more money coming in, which would be great. And in speaking about opportunities, I would be remiss if I did not take this opportunity to thank the people who gave me this opportunity to stand in front of you. I want to thank my parents, my sisters, my amazing partner, Nathan, for your love and support. And to my friends and neighbors and constituents for inspiring me each and every single day. Also to my colleagues, the ones who have reached out, the ones who have advised me and allowed me to do the best job that I could do. But last and not least, I want to thank my amazing team for everything that you do to help me each and every day, and also to help the people in our district. In closing, my esteemed colleagues, I urge you to join me in passing this amazing bill, which will allow us to improve upon the work of the educational reformers in 1993 and fulfill our promise to build and maintain an educational system that is free to all and works for all. It is only when we invest in our students, in their talents and passions, that Massachusetts can truly flourish. Their contributions to our Commonwealth will be our reward in the future. I can promise you that this reward will come back in tenfold, hundredfold, 1,000-fold. I humbly ask for your support, for your vote in support of this education bill. It is an investment in our collective future. Thank you so much.
Again, members are please asked to stay within the confines of the chamber for one more inaugural speech that we'll be having. Please stay within the confines of the chamber.